Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Boxing Pick, the premier destination for boxing picks. My name is Hisham, and together with my partner Stephen Breadman Edwards, we will be previewing and breaking down the upcoming undisputed heavyweight fight between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk to see where we can find the most value. I will also be breaking down one of the undercard fights between the return of the Crusher, Sergey Kovalev, when he faces off against unbeaten Robin Safar. Stay tuned for that after the breakdown for the main event. I am joined by my partner, Stephen Breadman Edwards, one of the best boxing coaches around and one of the good boxing minds that we can learn so much from. Stephen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Stephen, we have the upcoming undisputed heavyweight fight between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk coming up. What do we look for in this fight?
We have two clutch fighters who are very good at winning close rounds and very close fights. With Usyk being the gold medalist and Fury, being an undefeated top champion for a very long time. And he's not a big puncher where he's scoring a bunch of knockouts in a lot of his significant fights, even though he did stop Wilder and White. So he's very good at winning close rounds and fights, as is Usyk with a couple of his closer fights with Joshua and Bradis. So uh, I think we'll see possibly a distance fight, a fight that goes late into the fight, um, where
Mm-hmm.
both guys, are, adjusting. They're trying to find little things that work. Fury, he sets the tempo with his jab. Usyk sets the tempo with his feet.
Yeah.
So I could see both guys trying to, impose their skill set on the other one. I see Fury possibly switching from orthodox to southpaw to offset Usyk's southpaw stance. Very tough fight to call. Very tough pick. But I'm gonna go with Usyk. I think that
Mm-hmm.
if Fury stays orthodox, I think Usyk's straight left hand to the body will be a big scoring shot. If Fury goes southpaw, I think Usyk's left hand to the head will be the defining shot of the fight. And Usyk has just shown a little bit better form recently than Fury. So I
Yeah.
expect
Yeah.
Usyk to. I don't want to underestimate Fury because the last time I did was in the Wilder fights, and he showed that
Yeah.
he was you know a level above Wilder, which I didn't think going into the fights. But I'm gonna pick against him again. I'm gonna go with Usyk. Very tight decision. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw, but I'm just gonna go with Usyk because it seems like
Mm-hmm.
that he doesn't let fighters get momentum on him. He's a guy that if he loses a round, I would love to see his stat of how many times Usyk lost 2 rounds in a row in his career. I would love to see that stat. I also
That's a
think
very
that
good point.
I also
What about Fury's size? Yes. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think size is I mean, for the people that's picking Fury, they're going with his size. The size is a big deal in this
Yeah.
fight. He's 6'9", and he's
Yeah.
possibly maybe uh 40, 30 or 40 pounds heavier than Usyk. But
Yes.
I don't think Fury will be able to lean on Usyk the way he did Wilder. I think that Usyk has more pedigree than Wilder, and his feet are more elusive. Where he was able
Mm-hmm.
to lean on Wilder. Usyk has a little bit more dexterity. He can go left or right, and uh, his fundamental defense is better than Wilder's. I also think that Usyk
It really is. Yes.
is very physically strong. I think he's much physically stronger than people realize. He has a really solid build on him. He's very strong, and even with the heavyweights, he doesn't get bulled around or pushed around. Usyk's strength is also in his stamina. He doesn't lose much as the fight goes on. He kind of stays the same. even in Joshua. Joshua looked good in their second fight, but he just couldn't maintain Usyk's work rate. And
Yep.
it's not just the punches, it's his movements. So his strength is in his stamina. And if they were the same size, I think this will be an easy fight for Usyk, to be honest with you. But they aren't the same size, so it
Yes,
becomes
I
more
agree.
competitive because Fury, is so much bigger. And but something just tells me Usyk will edge it, or it'll be a controversial type of draw.
Yes. In Fury's trilogy with Wilder, he did take some big shots in actually all of those fights, and he was knocked down a total of 4 times. Could there be any damage that he has, taken with him going forward from those fights?
Sure, sure, there definitely could be. He definitely took some big shots, and he was hurt several times. He was almost knocked out in the first and third fights. So definitely, Fury hit him.
Yeah.
Wilder hit him a lot on the side of the head. He had a lot of numps on the side of his head, and it could be some residual effect because he was knocked down by a shot high on the head by Francis Ngannou. So it definitely could be some residual
Francis,
effect.
yes. What did you think of the shot that Francis Ngannou landed on him, the hook? Did
It
you
was a
think
good
it was a
shot.
very, very clean shot, or was it?
It was a good shot, and he's a big guy, So every heavyweight gets hurt or stunned or dropped. Every significant heavyweight that has ever lived. They're just so big that your head can only take but so much. So it wasn't the cleanest shot in the world, but Fury seems to have trouble when he gets hit high on his head. So that could be a sweet spot for Usyk.
Yes. And with the fight that Fury had against Otto Wallin, where he really struggled, Otto Wallin is a southpaw. There is some things that resembles Usyk, but Usyk is just so much better all around. Could you see it like that was a like a recipe for how to defeat Fury? Although Otto Wallin wasn't good enough to do it, but with his movement and his southpaw stance, will that help Usyk? You think?
I could see that. If I was fighting Usyk, Otto Wallin would be one of the sparring partners. So I could definitely see
Yeah.
that.
All right. The odds for this fight has been pretty much around minus 110, shifting to even money on Usyk and then going back to minus 110 on both fighters. Currently, right now, you can get Usyk at even money plus 100. What do you think about? Do you think there's value in that?
Yes.
I think so too. So you said you believe that Usyk will win by decision. Do you think we should specify? Are we safe in specifying for this fight, or do you think we should pick him outright or pick him to win by a decision?
It's not much different, so just pick them outright.
I think so too. Yes. There is the cut that Fury had. It has healed up, but you don't know. Sometimes it opens up. And I think there is value also in the plus 100, and it feels safer. Is there anything else you would like to add on this fight? Something that we should look out for? See maybe something early in the fight. How would you see this fight starting out?
Both guys coming out on the balls of their feet with a little bounce, kind of probing and picking. Both of them are very calculated in their approach. Um, I think that Fury will start a little faster, because Sugar Hill is the kind of coach that sends Fury to kind of attack and score knockouts. And I think Usyk will kind of calculate what he's doing, kind of be on the balls of his feet, be very alert, and just look to kind of just pick shots until Fury calms down the assault, the early attack.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so you heard it. Um, Oleksandr Usyk to win and become the undisputed heavyweight champion. You can get him currently at a plus 100, even money on most sites. Thank you very much, Stephen Breadman Edwards. See you next week. Thank you very much, Stephen Breadman Edwards, one of the great boxing minds we have in our sport. The pick is Oleksandr Usyk to win the fight. You can get that at even money plus 100. Now we're going to move on to one of the undercard fights between the return of the crusher Sergey Kovalev when he faces off against unbeaten Robin Safar. So Safar is unbeaten after 16 fights. He has a record of 16-0 with 12 knockouts. And he is a natural cruiserweight, so he will have a little bit of a size advantage over Kovalev. He's younger, he's fresher, he's naturally bigger, but he's fairly untested. He hasn't really been in the ring with anyone you would call, not just that he hasn't faced an elite fighter. He hasn't even faced the fighters below that level. He's mostly faced journeymen, and to his credit, he's beaten everything that he has had in front of him. But fighting Sergey Kovalev is a very different proposition. The interesting thing why I picked out just this fight to break down is that the odds makers made Robin Safar the favorite to win this fight. And I really don't agree with that. Why did they make him the favorite? They made him the favorite because, like I just said, he's bigger, he's fresher, he's the natural cruiserweight, he's unbeaten, 16-0, 12 knockouts, and they believe that Kovalev is on the decline, which he is. They know that Kovalev is old now. That's also true. Kovalev is 41 years old. He's only had one fight in 4 years, and that was against a fighter called not Kubrat Pulev, Tervel Pulev. That's his little brother, which he defeated by a points decision. And Tervel Pulev had a long amateur career. He was a decent fighter as an amateur, and he beat him 2 years ago. Since then, he's been inactive. He says that he has been waiting to get fights. He's been, he's stayed in the gym. He hasn't had a real camp because he didn't have a fight scheduled. And then this opportunity came along. So Kovalev was scheduled to face Robin Safar on the original card, which was due to take place in February. So we know that Kovalev was in shape to face Robin Safar in February. And then the main event got postponed and the whole card got postponed, which gave Kovalev, an older fighter, really 3 months extra to get in good shape. By the looks of him now, I think that Kovalev is in a good shape that you will see from a 41-year-old. He seems to have changed from the fighter we used to see before, the cocky, the arrogant, on top of the world. He knows now that he's not on top of the world anymore. I actually get the impression that he seems humbled. He seems humble now. He seems, much more mature. Another thing I noticed from watching the press conferences leading up to the fight now, just the last few days, is that Sergey Kovalev seems to be in a very happy place. He's in a good place. He's feeling good. He has said in the past that making 175 was very difficult for him, and now that he has been able to eat while training, he has been feeling very, very good. So, having watched some of Robin Safar's previous fights, he looks very tough. He's a good fighter, he hasn't been in with anyone of the level of Kovalev. And even if we think that Kovalev is much older now, he doesn't have much left, both of those things can be true, and he can still be too good for Robin Safar, which is what I'm thinking will happen in this fight. I just think that with Kovalev's pedigree, his jab, he had one of the best jabs in boxing, he still do. The power he has in his right hand, I just think that will be too much for Robin Safar. Safar has never been in the ring with anything close to Kovalev, and even though he might have sparred with good guys, it's not the same thing as getting hit with those small gloves with no headgear on. It's just very different in a real fight. So I think that Kovalev's jab will lead him to victory. I have seen that the timing has been a little bit off with Kovalev's right hand. I don't think he even needs that to win this fight. If it happens to be that the accuracy is good again in the right hand, who knows? Maybe he gets them out of there. Maybe he gets Safar out of there. For Safar to win this fight, it would have to be something like Kovalev gets worn down, he can't keep him off of him. But that would mean that Robin Safar will have to be better than he has ever shown us before. He will have to perform better. He will have to show us something I haven't seen from him before. I don't think we will see that. I think that Kovalev will be victorious. I think that Kovalev should be the favorite in this fight, a slight favorite, but a favorite. The odds makers have made Safar a minus 150 favorite. And Kovalev you can get at a plus 120. And I think it should be really the other way around. I think Kovalev should be a minus 150. Which is why I think there is really good value in this fight. I wish both guys, good luck in this fight. May the best men win. And the play from our side will be Sergey Kovalev simply to win the fight. We don't have to specify it. We get a plus 120, which would be 2.20 in decimal odds. And I think that is tremendous value. And that's the pick. Sergey Kovalev to come back victorious again. Thank you very much for watching this show, for supporting our channel. We really do appreciate you here. Our goal going forward is that we will produce more videos for you guys. We will produce more content, and the whole channel will just keep improving and getting better and better and better. And we really do appreciate having you here. So thank you very much, and see you next time. Goodbye.